Hello there, and welcome to Japanese craft beer reviews. From today, we're going to begin looking at a series of beers from a rather new Japanese craft brewer, and it's located in a rather remote location as well, and that is called Second Story Ale Works, and they are based in Tokushima, which is one of the prefectures in Shikoku, the island off to the east of Honshu, and they're actually located in Tokushima City, but way outside in the southern part of the city and kind of in a very rural part. So I guess Tokushima City must be rather large and includes kind of a lot of the rural area. They started in 2018, and they began bottling from November of 2019. Second Story, where does the name come from? Well, they started in the second floor of a garage, which is the second floor above the garage of the owner's parents' house. If you go to their website, you can see some photos of that. And they mentioned that it was not really a brewer-friendly location at first, so I'm not sure how well they have adapted, but I guess they're putting out a lot of beers now. This was founded by two people, a man named Pat Brown and his wife, who the wife is the owner, Pat is the brewer, and apparently he began homebrewing in 1993, quite a while ago, and decided to start a brewery when they returned to Japan from Bend, Oregon, which is probably the biggest little small town of brewers in the world. It's a small town in the middle of Oregon, up in kind of the mountain area, but there's so many breweries there. That's where Deschutes, for example, got his start. Bend, Oregon. I've been there once for a few days and looked around. It is a really nice town. So they returned from Bend, Oregon to Japan and began brewing. Also took a university brewing course, apparently when he was in the U.S. And they like to use local products, especially local fruit and local wheat and things like that. So there are, I can think of at least 3 breweries in Tokushima now, which have started fairly recently. The one that probably has the most well known is Kamikatsu, and the other one is it Kamiyama? I can't remember the name. Anyway, they're not too far apart from each other in Tokushima area. So we're going to look at several beers from them, and I'm excited. I've heard a lot of good things about them. The recent issue of the Japan Beer Times will feature, or the next issue, I guess, will feature an article on this brewery written by a friend of mine. So I'm kind of looking forward to these beers. Okay. And today we're going to look at a rather special beer from Second Story Ale Works, and it is this one. It's called Second Story Ale Works Farmhouse Japonica or Japonica. I'm not sure how I would pronounce it. And this was made in 2019 in May, so it's had over a year aging. It is a Saison or Grisette farmhouse style at 8% and 25 IBUs. In our next video, we will look at the sister beer for this one, and it's called Farmhouse Americana, which is also made in May of 2019. And these two beers have something in common, of course, the style, and they're both 8%ers, and the Japonica, which we will look at today, has 25 international bittering units. They both have Pilsner malt, they both have rye, They both have laurel hops and cascade hops. One big difference is that the Japonica one has Sancho pepper, local pepper from the Tokushima area, apparently. And it's often called Chinese pepper, and it has a very distinctive kind of taste to it, almost minty. It's commonly used on eel dishes here in Japan, and it's also put into some Chinese dishes as well. The Americana has black pepper instead. Okay, so I think that is basically the primary difference is the pepper, but they do have some different malts in them and different hops as well. So the Japonica has brown rice added and some Vienna malt as well, and it has Hallertauer Blanc hops, which the Americana does not have. Okay, the yeast is a combination of Saison yeast and Brett, so it is a Brett beer, and it has been aged for well over a year. We're now in October, so this is at least 15 months aged. Okay, so let's give this one a go, shall we? This was, again, it's called Farmhouse Japonica or Japonica, I'm not sure how you would say it. A Saison at 8%, 25 IBUs. And on Rate Beer, this one has only one rating, and that was at 3.9 out of 5. On Untapped, it has 16 separate ratings, and the average is 3.91, so almost identical. All right. It has the Saison and Brett yeast, which should give it some complexity for sure. It also has forced carbonation, so not natural carbonation, and the goal here apparently was to make the carbonation lower and the mouthfeel somewhat richer. So I think we should give this a go now. I have a double glass, which I have just washed out, and we'll try it there. Okay, it opens with a little whisper. It's a little bit strong, 8%, a little bit strong for Saison, but the trend these days seems to be to create somewhat higher alcohol Saisons. Saison meaning season, and the season is summer, basically a working man's drink during farm work traditionally. Okay, so this is very clear, very, very clear, bright gold straw with a finger and a half of very fluffy white head and rather extensive carbonation. You can see that rising up, I think. Very, very strong carbonation with that forced carbonation that they mentioned here. Let's give it a try. Whew. It does have, you can get the Brett right away, the Brett yeast. It's kind of unusual for a new brewery to make a Brett beer right off the bat, but they apparently did that. This brewery's only been open for a couple of years, and apparently this must have been one of the first beers that they worked on and then aged it for a while. So the Brett is there. It's not overpowering, but it certainly is there. It's not really a horse blankety one, but kind of sweaty. Yeah, a little bit stinky, nice, pleasant, fairly mild. The Saison yeast is kind of overpowered by the Brett. This is nice, mild, some pineapple, maybe some light white grapes or white wine. Sancho pepper is kind of hard to detect, maybe late mid palate, a little bit of stinging note I would normally associate with a hop, but you can kind of feel it. So this is a beer I'm going to finish the review, but I should probably let it warm up and try it in different, try it in half an hour, try it in an hour and see how it is. But right now it's very pleasant. Nice fruit, like peach, maybe grapes, something like apple perhaps. Very pleasant mouthfeel. Carbonation seems heavier rather than lighter, but it does have a very rich kind of mouthfeel for sure. This is a pleasant beer, almost a sipper. Definitely not one to toss back a pint of for sure. This is really well done, I think, especially for one of their first beers. So, Second Story Ale Works makes a variety of interesting styles. Right away, they didn't start with the typical styles that most breweries do. So this one, it's got kind of a nice richness in the back of the throat, some mild alcohol warmth. Yeah, this is wonderful. I'm getting more and more grapes now from this. Could be the Howler Tower Blanc hops. Brown rice, interesting addition. Some brewers do use rice to lighten up the body on their beers, but I don't assume it's brown rice here. So. It is a little bit darker than many saisons, and I assume that's the Vienna malt, perhaps. So, very nice, very nicely done. Once again, this is called Second Story Ale Works Farmhouse Japonica, and it is an 8.8%, 25 international bittering units beer. Go online to their website. You can buy their beers now. These beers are still available, I believe, but they're probably not going to last terribly long. I don't think they made a ton of it, and I think word has gotten out around among beer geeks in Japan that this is a special brewery and this is one of their very special beers. So if you're interested, go online and get some bottles of this. I got a set of 2, and you can do that, or you can buy 3 bottles of each if you like. I think this might be an interesting one to try and age maybe a little bit more and see what happens to it. It is fairly dry right now. It would probably dry out certainly more in 6 months to a year, but give this one a go. I highly recommend it. Second Story Ale Works Farmhouse Japonica 2019. That's it for today. I hope you will subscribe to the channel. Come back next time when we will review this one, which is kind of the sister beer to the one we reviewed today. Okay, that's it. Take care. Hope you're doing well. Bye-bye.